Hey guys, welcome back to the George Poulos podcast. I'm brewing up my second cup of decaf coffee today, so I'll go get that in a minute. I felt inspired to record in this messy room. If you guys have been tracking my Walden year, it's actually going really well. In terms of the apartment decluttering, it's going really well. Like this this little bit of a mess that you're seeing is really mellow compared to what it was like before I started. It was like insane gargantuan piles of stuff everywhere. I'm finally hitting this like I'm hitting this uh transitional moment where I'm looking around and I'm like, "Whoa, there's still I still got a pile of stuff in the kitchen there too. There's like a garbage bag with more clothes that I'm donating. There's stuff. It's a little bit chaotic, but I'm like, whoa, I'm kind of actually feeling a sense of lightness and like I've put a real dent into this and like I'm seeing the finish line. Like I'm now envisioning just really not having that much stuff at all and it feels great. It feels like a breath of fresh air. Feels very freeing. It feels very nice. There's still some work to do. Is you like, man, some of this stuff, it's coming in from that product review side hustle that I do, which I really feel like is falling out of alignment. I did make a claim on my Substack newsletter, which I'm writing on every day, and I am going to talk a little bit about social media, nerdy social media strategy stuff in this episode at some point, but I am writing on Substack every single day, and it's like, so if you enjoy the podcast, that's also a great opportunity to stay in touch with what I'm going through. But I made this claim in a recent letter that I was done with the product review side hustle. I have to be honest, I have accepted a couple more of those things. I'm just like not fully ready to let it go, and that's okay. I do suspect that once I actually move apartments, that's another thing I've been writing about regularly on Substack is that whole journey that I'm on. I do think once I move and like don't really have the space to hold any products, that's going to kind of forcibly make me let go of that. So we'll see, but it's like, yeah, it's this. Some of this stuff from the side hustle has been sitting here for weeks and months, and it's just adding clutter and visual clutter, and also it's keeping like open mind loops because I know I'm like I gotta take care of this stuff. I gotta record the videos and sell the products or put the products on the stoop. So it's like all this space in my mind is filled by this thing. It's just this is where I'm at. I only bought this iron over here because of clothing review videos. I don't need in my own life. I don't need an iron. Never had an iron. Don't don't see it as being important. Um, so I think I'm starting to record this episode at about 10:40 a.m. in the morning. I've already went to a coffee shop. I wrote my daily Substack letter. I actually something really interesting happened. I so when I sit down to write my daily letter, and same thing happens when I sit down to record a podcast episode, this like expression just comes tunneling out of me. Like it just gets channeled and then there it is, this beautiful, raw, imperfect, messy letter of exactly what my mind stream was at the time. And it's with this fresh morning energy. I've been taking care to make sure I kind of extend my sacred morning practice. So instead of meditating and then rushing into the busyness of the day and getting right on my phone and checking social media and stuff, I've been doing meditation and then either incorporating a run or going to a cafe and writing my letter sort of before entering the chaos of the world, and that's been really, really, really nice. So, anyways, this morning at the coffee shop, I wrote this letter in this passionate stream, and it was all done. And then the little perfectionist tendency crept in, and I started rereading it, making sure it was good. And then I started to get into this loop, and I started to tweak things, and then I'm having new ideas and changing the letter around, and then I'm like, whoa, I have this signature feeling in my body. It actually happens in my groin, where my groin gets tight when I'm like when I'm slipping out of presence and slipping into sort of being triggered and this chaos and this overthinking. I feel that signal in my body. Actually, as I'm recording this episode, I'm still somewhat recovering and resettling from this morning, where I got into this overthinking and over tweaking spiral about this letter. And it's just so wild to witness that. It's wild to think that I used to operate most of my life in this state of being, and I didn't even have the awareness to see what was going on. Now I'm able to catch this and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I know what needs to be done. I need to stop tweaking, and just sit through this discomfort and ease back into stillness. It's so difficult because in that triggered state, all the mind wants to do is fix one more thing and tweak one more thing and do one more thing to try to appease that feeling. But that's actually not how it works. When that feeling is coming up, what needs to happen is a withdrawal and a removal, because there's a mistake happening in the mind. The mind is losing presence. The mind is looking for salvation in the future, looking for salvation in perfecting the letter or doing this one more thing, whatever it is in the given situation. Let me grab my coffee real quick. So while that pours up, hoping you guys can still hear me. Guys, it feels so good. Like, it literally it feels amazing to pour out expression and send it and post it as is. And it feels so horrible and terrible, and it consumes time and energy, and it just feels bad to get into that over tweaking and over editing spiral. And what I experienced writing my letter this morning, it's the same thing I used to experience with my video content. Before I sort of embraced the raw and authentic style, I would constantly slip into this over editing, and it would consume, guys, days, weeks, months of my life. So this all inspired an Instagram post this morning where I wrote, perfectionism ruins days, perfectionism ruins weeks, perfectionism ruins months, perfectionism ruins lives. Just send it raw. Just send it raw. So I slipped into this mistake this morning. It's unfortunate because it threw my whole system out of whack, but part of this human life is we stumble and fall and forget. It's just a part of it. And the beautiful part about that is that gives us an opportunity to remember again. And then we can take our learnings from that stumble and fall and express our learnings in order to help and serve others. So so you can actually see, even with the stumbling and falling that's involved in this human life, that's inevitable in this human life, there's kind of this cohesive system where you can just continue to take those learnings, integrate them, express them, teach them, fall again, learn, integrate, express, teach. There's this beautiful, cohesive, like non-ending cycle of learning and growing and serving. It's pretty beautiful, actually. Let me go pour the rest of my coffee. My drip coffee. I've kind of been having an interesting artist dilemma because as I am pouring this cup of decaf, I'm being reminded that a community member, Patreon community member and dear friend, offered to send me some decaf coffee. This will be the second person gifting me decaf coffee as I embark on my Walden year, which currently includes no caffeine. It's actually really very touching and sweet. But then I'm having this interesting artist dilemma, especially as I'm writing my daily letters. I'm like not sure whether to refer to people's full real names or if I should keep them private. So what I've been doing in my letters is just writing the first initial of the first name. But it's so interesting. Like, I actually remember this on YouTube too. Like, I wouldn't be sure kind of who to include in the videos or if certain people, maybe just didn't want to be in the videos, and I would kind of just do a vibe check. But it's really interesting because like this whole creator and expression and artist thing and the whole thing I'm doing with spiritual growth and creative freedom, it's there's a unification happening where it's just not separate from who I am. It is me. Like I sense that as my journey progresses, I'm just becoming this unified thing. There's like much less separation between my work and life. It's like, no, my Patreon community, that's not this separate work thing. Like that's my life. And my Substack newsletter, it's not like I'm pulling from a separate source. It's like this is my life and my journey, and it's something really interesting about the Substack newsletter in particular is I actually sense that it's facilitating this merging energy because for a long time as I grappled with creative freedom and I had all these split accounts and I did uphold this separation between like work George or creator George and personal George and spiritual George. I was kind of keeping them all separate, but now it's all merging. So people from these aspects of my life that I had been holding separate, it's all starting to merge now because I'm sharing it all on my one Instagram, on my one YouTube, on my one Substack. It's like, no, here's who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just getting distracted by notifications. I should really turn those off. It's like, here's who I am. There's no more, I can no longer like be a smaller version of me for the people in my personal life and like pretend I'm not interested in this spirituality stuff. Like it can't happen anymore. It's all becoming one thing, and it's actually an incredibly fascinating phenomenon. And the more I do this, the more I see like, oh, I didn't need to be holding these separations. Like it's all melting now. Like it's all melting now. It's all becoming one thing. People in my personal life, very many of them are interested in what I'm learning in meditation. People who are following the skate channel days are in my Patreon community learning about meditation, embarking on their own journey of creative freedom and self-expression. It's just all becoming one purpose and one unified thing with much less separation. Let me grab my coffee. It should be ready now. So we got a bit of an overflow here, and I actually am out of paper towels, so what I'll do is I'll just use this kitchen towel. We'll get coffee stained, but that's okay. And just before recording this, I just spilled more coffee. I was at the coffee shop. I wrote my letter. I got into that spiral that I just shared with you. And Then I came home. It started pouring rain. It was really cozy. It's now settled. And let me just hang up this dish towel so it dries. And then I made some eggs and potatoes. Haven't found any good avocados lately. But had a nice breakfast, and then we'll be teaching meditation and meeting a client here, and then I'll be done for the week. And last weekend I got into a lot of action. I was actually socializing a lot, which is different for me because I had been doing full weekend solo silent retreat tech detoxes basically. After after I'm all wrapped up tonight, the last thing I'll have to do is a Facebook Marketplace sale at 6:30 p.m. After that, the phone is turning off for 24 hours. I'm going in the hole. I really need it. I really need it. Especially the getting triggered this morning after writing the letter. It's like I'm actually really aching for that solo reset again, going deep within myself and just being bored and having no social media and nothing. I just really need that. So that'll be great. And I would do a full weekend, but Mother's Day on Sunday, we'll be hanging out with my family. But yeah, back to that interesting, just kind of nerdy thing about the names. I think I was thinking about how Jack Kerouac, he changed the names and I've been doing just the single letter to represent people in my letters. He actually changed people's names and changed the city names and stuff like that, which is an interesting approach. And yeah, it was reminding me how in my YouTube days, I would really use my intuition. I could tell some people probably wouldn't really want to be in the videos and stuff. And then I've kind of been doing the same here, just kind of using my intuition about whether to specifically name people. But the interesting thing is as this separation is breaking, what feels the most natural to me is just to, as I'm expressing here on the podcast and writing the letters, what feels the most natural is to just be like, oh yeah, and so at so and so's meditation class I learned this, and so sent me this decaf coffee, and I was on so and so's podcast or whatever, and I'm sort of trying to be careful about people's privacy, but then this is so nerdy, but then there are people who are on a similar creative expression wavelength, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, we're operating on that same plane. Of course I can mention their name. In fact, then it's creating this network effect where everybody knows everybody. So I think that's kind of cool and interesting. It's yeah, it's merging. It's really allowing online expression to merge with real life and letting that all be one thing as well. That's actually kind of a trippy psychedelic thought that just emerged, which is kind of cool. So yeah, got triggered, but we press on. I'm continuing to shed and lighten up on this apartment. It seems like a move into a very different kind of living situation. Very well may be imminent for me. I'm navigating a few things with that. One, securing that room and making sure that's secured. Two, leaving this lease early, which is going to involve some unknown and stress, and getting it re-rented to somebody, to a new person, and hopefully not having to pay double rent. But yeah, I don't know. I've kind of found myself in a place of flow. I do feel as though I've been in the flow of not only expression, but also life and following intuition, as I reflected about in the previous episode. And it seems that as I'm in that flow, every day I wake up and I try to do my practice, and then, things just open and there are intuitive hits, and I try to do them, and I try to show up for my Patreon community and my clients, and and all the stuff I'm doing, and I'm just trying to be open to everything. This upcoming living situation is not what I would have expected for myself, and I've really been proud of myself for leaning into my intuition even when it doesn't align with what my mind may have expected. So it's been really cool. This has been a really cool way of being that I've settled into. And yeah, I already touched on how I definitely need the unplug, the 24-hour unplug Friday night into Saturday night. That will be beautiful. It'll be beautiful to see my family. It's beautiful to show up and serve you all every week and share my mind stream and my journey with you. It's beautiful to serve my community and clients. The crazy thing about that newsletter affliction is that if I had just fired it off right when the expression poured out, I think I'd be totally clear now. But since I had gone into the over tweaking, I opened this loop and now I'm like still wondering, should I go back in and tweak it and change things? It's like wild. And I'm, yeah, just paying attention to that. You can see how I need this unplug. Maybe you can see that. So yeah, just radically present in all of this, awake in all of this. And we'll see how it keeps unfolding. I feel like I could say more, but there's no need to push it. So hopefully see some of you soon for meditation. That's on Patreon. And we also do the Creative Freedom Call once a week on Wednesdays. Schedule subject to change. I may introduce twice weekly Creative Freedom Calls, which I had been doing at the beginning of the year. And there's something cozy about that, and more people could make it with their different schedules and stuff. So sign up for the Patreon. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to Substack, where I'm currently writing every day if you'd like. And for now, I'll keep posting these podcasts weekly. I do have a bit of a question, which I kind of wrote about this morning as I was getting into my mind spiral. But there is this open question. So I've been doing the walden year, right, and shedding all these physical objects, and it's been so freeing. There is a question of, is there an overcomplication with the way that I'm expressing? Because I see how the podcast can overlap with what I'm already sharing on other platforms, and sometimes it feels heavy and overcomplicated, but other times it actually feels like it's all flowing really nicely. So for now, we'll stick with the podcast, and I'll keep feeling into that. What I've noticed as I do shed the objects, like my YouTube cameras, for example, it's like I'll get an intuition like, I don't think I need these cameras anymore. And then there's a phase where I don't quite let it go yet as I'm like thinking about it. And then one day I'll wake up and be like, oh yeah, it's time to sell that. And then before I know it, the cameras are gone. And so I'm learning not to like force this process of shedding and letting go. And I'm applying that to the social media stuff as well, because I can get into these like anxious overthinking spirals about social media strategy, but I'm learning to just similar to how this apartment objects shedding has gone, this Walden Year project has gone, I'm learning to just kind of allow it to unfold in the stages that it needs to. So yeah, just being present for all of it, really. So feeling in a good place with all of this, loving you very, very dearly. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.